Right now, you're looking at a live picture as the U.S. Navy Leapfrogs are preparing to make their grand entrance. In other words, they're preparing to jump out of this plane at any minute now, something I would never do.
I wouldn't either, Lee.
Now, the Leapfrogs are a 15-man team. They are part of the very, very elite Navy SEALs. And they were supposed to be jumping, but this is live and with overcast skies right now in Muskegon and some windy conditions. It's taking them a little longer than they thought to get the plane in the proper attitude and position for them to jump. But once again, we are expecting the Navy Leapfrogs, a 15-man, very elite team, part of the Navy SEALs, to jump from this plane as we begin our coverage from the Muskegon Air Fair. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lee Vanamy.
And I'm Kim Covington. We are live at the Muskegon County Airport, where a lot of people are lining up for this pre-flight party.
That's right. Now, let's take a look from some of our tower cams, and you can see from the tower cams that we are literally going to be surrounded by what else at an air fair but planes, and lots of planes, all types of planes, everything from fighter jets to military transports.
Tonight's show is a preview of what's ahead for the weekend, including an F-14 night demo. There's also plenty of music and food, so grab your lawn chairs and come on down. It's two for the price of one night. Tickets are just $7 for adults and $2 for kids, and you buy one, you can get one for free.
Yeah, it's not a bad deal. Now, the star attraction of this year's airfair, as we've mentioned and as you've probably seen in advertisements over the last couple of weeks, is the Navy's Blue Angels. That's an elite flying squad that really will put on a show that is unbelievable. If you've never seen the Blue Angels, then you have a treat in store. They only make a few appearances each year, which is why organizers moved the airfare up this year. Coming up, we'll show you why this performance is so important to flying enthusiasts and meet one of the pilots who is from West Michigan.
Plus, tour the type of plane that's been at the center of an international controversy. We'll take you inside the P-3 Charlie spy plane, and she soars through the sky on the wing of a plane. We'll introduce you to Jane, the Wing Walker.
All right,
and
but now the Leapfrogs. Yes,
yeah.
I understand that they have made their jump. If we can go to that camera, they're right above us right now. We'll get a shot of them. They are. I'm told they are jumping, but we're having trouble again.
Where are they?
All within the last couple of hours. The skies here in Muskegon have really become quite overcast.
Oh, there they are. I see the red. I see the red smoke.
They're all right. They're behind the airplane. We've got a shot of the airplane, but actually they're behind the airplane. If our cameraman can get a shot of the, there's the chutes being deployed.
He'll find them soon. He'll find them soon because they're right behind the plane. And if he just follows the, they're coming down. They're coming down soon. We sure want everyone to see what we're seeing right now.
They're here.
Oh.
There we go.
There they are. Very tiny, but they made it.
And if you just joined us once again, this is a really spectacular flying squad called the Leapfrogs, and they are part of the Navy SEALs, and they are making their grand entrance here today as our coverage of the Muskegon Air Fair continues. Let's go to Juliet Dragus right now, who's back in the studio with the top stories of the day. Juliet?
Lee and Kim, I have butterflies just watching them ascend and descend. Thanks.
Yes, there you go.
In the news today, the nation is still considered to be at full employment, but it's less full than it was. The jobless rate rose to 4.5% last month, and that's up 0.1% from May. 114,000 jobs were trimmed from payrolls across the country. Most of those came in the manufacturing sector. An American soldier is in a Japanese jail tonight, charged with raping an Okinawan woman. Staff Sergeant Timothy Woodland was handed over to Japanese police after a diplomatic debate over which charges he'll face. Woodland will be represented by a military lawyer as well as a Japanese legal defender. Both will be paid by the U.S. government. Woodland says he is innocent, but he does face several years in a Japanese prison if convicted. It was a weekend they wanted to remember for the rest of their lives, only it may be remembered for the wrong reasons. Brian Distelberg took his girlfriend, Michelle Bolden, to Drummond Island to propose. The day after she said yes, the two lost control of their kayaks in Lake Huron. Brian was floating for 6 hours, suffering from hypothermia. The Coast Guard arrived after Michelle was able to get to a nearby island and call for help. Doctors say given his body temperature of 85 degrees, Brian should not have survived.
It's just very traumatic to see a person you love so much be in that kind of danger and know that they're right on the edge of not ever having them with you again.
And you will hear more from him on his harrowing experience and story of survival coming up on WZZM 13 News at 6 o'clock. And a plea this afternoon from the Humane Society in Ottawa County. Quite a few cats and dogs are being left on the shelter's doorstep instead of being brought inside. Now, the building is along a busy highway and abandoned animals could easily run into traffic, putting themselves at risk as well as increasing the opportunity for auto accidents. They ask people needing to get rid of a pet to please bring it inside during normal business hours for the shelter, which is open 6 days a week. Time now to send it back out to Kim and Lee, and I can't tell you how excited I am to see the Blue Angels since I got to go up with the Thunderbirds in an F-16, so I can't wait to see them perform. That's why I have butterflies in my stomach.
I know you want to be out here because there's a lot of excitement here.
Yeah.
And this year, Juliet, the Air Fair has a new look and a new location.
That's right. All of the action has really been moved to the north end of the airport, and that is to accommodate the Blue Angels. Now, all of the action, as we said, is there because they need a safety zone when they fly in case they need to make an emergency landing. That's why many homes in the area will be evacuated at various times throughout the weekend. Many roads will be closed. Running at the bottom of your screen is a list of all the streets that you will want to avoid.
There are also changes in the parking this year. Whether you're coming in on US 31 or I-96, just follow the signs. They'll lead you to several lots where free shuttle service is being offered.
Now, you can park your car at JCPenney or Kmart on Henry Street or Great Lakes Downs or the Lakeshore Marketplace on Harvey Street. From there, the shuttle will drop you off at the main spectator area. It runs continuously from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday and on Sunday.
And with more than 140,000 people expected to attend the Muskegon Air Fair, you want to get here early so you can get a spot, or if you have to catch a flight,
yes,
you want to get here
go.
early because there is a lot of traffic.
That's right. If you've been to the air fair before, you know that regular traffic continues here at the airport while the air fair goes on. Now, the stars, as we said, of this year's air fair, no doubt, will be the Blue Angels.
Yeah, Muskegon is only one of 17 civilian locations where the Blue Angels will perform this year, and WZZM 13 Lakeshore team reporter Robert Golston shows us more of the Blue Angels.
One of the country's most elite flying teams. They're the Blue Angels, 6 high-performance jet fighters, capable of speeds almost twice the speed of sound. At the controls, the Navy's best pilot.
It's the best roller coaster ride there is.
In ship number 4, Lieutenant Commander Chip Bogert, a Grand Rapids native.
What can you say? It's not very often we come, to Michigan.
The West Michigan University graduate is flying near where he grew up for the first time. Friends and family will be watching.
Well, my dad, my brothers, college friends, high school friends, so lots of people.
Bogert remembers his first air show in Kalamazoo. It was the first time he saw the Blue Angels.
And I hope to, there's some kid out there that'll be as motivated as I was when I watched them in Kalamazoo,
The Blue Angels are having a big impact on this air fair. It's the first time a jet team will perform in Muskegon, and because it's the only location in Michigan the Blue Angels are flying, more people than ever are expected to fill these seats. Bogert hopes all those people enjoy the show just as much as he enjoys giving it.
Me, this is a dream come true. I have to pinch myself every once in a while just to make sure I'm not sleeping, and this is not a big dream.
And while it may not be a dream, this flying team tries to give the people watching a chance to wonder. In Muskegon, Robert Goulston, WZZM 13 News.
And another West Michigan native is on the Blue Angels team, Major David Michael. He flies Fat Albert. Yes, again, that is the correct name, Fat Albert. And there's a lot of noise. It's a huge plane. It looks like a Fat Albert over
That's right.
It's a support plane. And Major David Michael grew up in Grand Rapids, and he went to Hope College in Holland.
Wow, that's
That's right.
good for him.
And you'll find plenty to see and do at the Air Fair. It runs today through Sunday. If you'd like to come check it out, tickets are $15 for adults and $7 for seniors and children 5 to 12 years old. Children under 4 years old get in free. The gates are open each day from 10 to 6 with the feature show starting at 1 p.m.
Okay, there's a couple of things I can't imagine myself doing. One is like the leapfrogs, jumping out of an airplane. I don't understand people that do that.
I could do that.
The other is walking on the wings of an airplane when it's in the air.
I could not do that. Coming up, we'll introduce you to a husband and wife team who have a passion for wing walking.
watching Kim Covington, Lee Vanamee, and Bill Steffen on WZZM 13 News.
Oh, big old jet airliner, don't carry me too far away. Oh, big old jet airliner, 'cause it's here and I got to stay.
And welcome back to WZZM 13 News at 5:30.
And we're on the road to the Muskegon Air Fair at the pre-flight party, and we're sitting right in front of this huge F-18 Hornet. It's a monster.
It's a beautiful plane, too, and there'll be lots of them flying. Not necessarily that one, but lots of different planes flying, as we've mentioned here, and hopefully everything will be all right weather-wise.
It's kind of windy, and it's a little cloudy out here.
That's right. Meteorologist Bill Steffen is also here at the Muskegon Air Fair, and he's standing by a plane that is near and dear to his heart. Right, Bill?
Hey, that is for sure. And I've got Val Hendry here with me, who is with the Air Force Reserve, and you are a weather specialist, correct?
That is correct. This is the aircraft that we fly into hurricanes. We're down here from Biloxi, Mississippi.
Wow, that's kind of neat. So what's forecast going to be? I don't have to do any work tonight. I can get it right here, right? What do you think?
Well, I was hoping to hear that from you.
Oh, well, we got a few high clouds coming in. This is actually debris from thunderstorms that were up in North Dakota last night. And this will fizzle out, but we do have a chance for shower thunderstorms. It's been kind of dry around here. We could use a little rain. Hopefully it'll come tonight. But if we get a hurricane, I know you're all set, right?
Absolutely.
All right, let's take a look at the weather maps out here. First of all, dual Doppler. Nothing much to show you out here. There have been a couple of sprinkles and light showers across Wisconsin. They'll likely fizzle out, and new showers and storms will form later on tonight, so our best bet for rain probably won't occur until after midnight. Temperatures have been on the cool side today, but that's good. Temperatures generally low to mid-70s across the area. Put satellite pictures in motion. We saw lots of sunshine here through a good portion of the day, and I watched the high clouds kind of spread in. They'll be with us here during the night. So indeed, it looks like we'll be seeing kind of a variably cloudy pattern here for tonight and much of the day tomorrow. Like I said, not a lot of rain out there right now. This mass of thunderstorms is kind of fizzled into Wisconsin, but we expect new showers and storms to form in Wisconsin down into Iowa, Illinois late tonight into tomorrow. So we certainly do have a chance for a shower or a thunderstorm coming into the picture here for later tonight, or especially during the morning hours tomorrow. But not an all-day washout. You can still come out here to the airfair and have a great time. Forecast details. Overnight tonight, only down about 62 and not nearly as cold as it was this morning under kind of variably cloudy skies. There is a chance for a shower, thunder shower later on tonight. Tomorrow, once again, about a 50-60% chance of catching a shower, thunder shower. Temperatures will be in the 70s during the day, so kind of comfortable. And then we have a chance that we'll be seeing a mostly sunny day here on Sunday. Should be the better half of the weekend with highs recovering back in the low 80s. We'll be a bit cooler than that near the lake. Got the 7-day forecast coming up. Lots more from the airfair, so stay tuned.
All right. Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Bill.
Bill. I have to clear something up real quick. The C5 is the huge one. The F-18 behind me is the smaller one.
That's right. And that's what the airfair.
I feel kind of goofy.
That's
I
what the
should have known
airfair
that
is
one.
all about. You
That's
get to
right.
learn different things like that.
Well, if you like to see daredevils in action, you want to stay tuned.
It's amazing to watch this husband and wife team in action. They're wing walkers. Jane is known as Beauty, while her husband Kirk and his plane are the Beast. Beauty climbs on the plane and walks across it without a safety harness. The Beast then tries to shake her loose with rolls, loops, and many other maneuvers while traveling at speeds up to 130 miles an hour. The team says it may look dangerous, but they've been training for years.
I'm thinking about what I'm doing. First of all, I can't think about anything else. A lapse in judgment will be fatal to me. And I do it because it's a lot of fun.
Well, Kurt and Jane say their performance is presented the way wing walking was done back in the 1920s and 30s, and you think we would have learned better by now. But
oh, my goodness. That looks really scary.
No.
I could never do that. It's always cool to see inside a spy plane. And we're going to get a look at one that's been at the center of an international controversy.
That's right. I'm going to take you inside the P-3 spy plane. It's here, and we'll see it when our On the Road show from the Muskegon Air Fair continues.
And welcome back. One of the planes sure to get a lot of attention this year is the Navy's P-3 Charlie spy plane. And Lee Vanamee takes us inside.
Well, Kim, earlier this year, most of us remember that a P-3 plane similar to the one that we're in right now was involved with a collision with a Chinese jet fighter, and of course that sparked an international incident. Many of us were very curious about exactly what that plane looked like. Well, we have the opportunity here at the Muskegon Air Fair to get an up-close and personal look, and joining us now is Jed Kane, who is going to tell us what the cockpit is. And Jed, you know, my impression when the Chinese story was going on is that this plane did not look very high-tech in the traditional sense, but it really is, isn't it? Could you tell us some of the features that it has?
Yes, that's correct. The airframe itself is 60s vintage and was based on an old airliner. But the gear in the back is quite high-tech, and it's fixing to get even more high-tech with new systems we're having installed. You have a little bit of a mixture up here in the cockpit. As you can see, you have some of the older instrumentation mixed in with glass displays, which were just installed in the last year or so. And we also have GPS and several systems in the back that aid us in our mission. And our primary mission is anti-submarine warfare.
I was going to say, so how does that differ from the plane that was involved in the collision in China?
Okay, this is a P-3 Charlie, and that aircraft was an EP-3. The E standing for electronic, and basically the airframe is the same, but the gear in the back is completely different, and it's composed primarily of radio operators and Navy navigators.
All right, we're going to go back there and take a look at what that is all about back there. We are now towards the rear of the plane, and you can see some of the equipment here that looks pretty impressive. And with me now is Gary Fuller to explain what else goes on in this plane.
Well, I'm this is the tactical coordinator position, and basically the primary function of the tactical coordinator is to coordinate with various sensor operators who have various sensor gear in the back of the aircraft, and they forward that information to me on this MPD multi-purpose display, and based on that I coordinate with the entire air crew in deploying appropriate tactics on station, whether it be anti-submarine warfare or counter-drug interdiction flights, or ASUW, which is anti-surface warfare, and which we're actually possibly could be supporting the battle group.
Okay, so very quickly then, what do you see on this screen then for the layman that doesn't know?
It's basically various conics displays. We'll display the flight station, the actual aircraft, and moving and certain altitudes and winds and airspeed of the aircraft. And
it's pretty sophisticated stuff though, right?
Yes, it is, to some degree.
Okay, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And if you want to know more what the P-3 looks like inside, you'll have to come down to the Muskegon Air Fair. Kim?
Thanks, Lee, and we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Bill Steffen back live at the Air Fair in Muskegon. I'm with Val Hendry, who's one of the hurricane hunters. Hey, why do you fly into hurricanes?
Actually, that makes the forecast about 25% more accurate than just looking at satellites alone, and it costs about $1 million per mile for every piece of the coastline that comes underneath a warning.
Now, could I be 25% more accurate if I flew into lake effect snow? What do you think?
We can give it a try.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks so much for coming out here. Let's take a look at your forecast for the weekend. Overnight tonight, there is a chance for shower, thunder shower, but not till late tonight. So if you're coming out this evening to see all the planes here at the Muskegon Airport, come on down. Should be a great evening. Temperatures later on tonight down to the low 60s. During the day tomorrow, there is about a 50-50 chance for shower, thunder shower. May last an hour, so don't worry about it too much. Come on out here and have a good time. May have to dodge in one of the tents for a short time. And for Sunday, a beautiful day, lots of sunshine, high temperatures, low 80s, a bit cooler than that near the lake. Next week, pretty much average temperatures. Best bet for a shower or storm will come on Tuesday. We got lots more coming up here, so stay right with us from the Muskegon Air Fair in beautiful Muskegon. How about that, everybody?
Aren't the only stars at this year's show.
That's right. Stunt drivers are also drawing huge crowds. Now the monster trucks will jump ramps and crush cars. There's also the Great Wall of Fire and the world-famous Budweiser Clydesdales. The 8-horse team arrived yesterday. They'll be on display all weekend, so you can get a close-up view. And they're so big, you can probably see them from a lot of these planes up there.
That's right. And that's all for WZZM 13 News at 5:30. Thank you so much for joining us.
And stay with us. We'll have more from the Muskegon Air Fair at 6 o'clock.
From Grand Rapids and along the lakeshore, you're watching WZZM 13 News at 6.
It was a surprise vacation and a surprise wedding proposal, but the biggest surprise was this couple's trip back that nearly cost both of them their lives.
Our only choice then was just hang on to the kayaks and just float and hope something good came of it.
Good evening. I'm Juliette Dragus. Lee is on assignment tonight. It is one of the busiest times of year for water rescues out on the Big Lake and inland lakes. Every year, the Coast Guard at Grand Haven says they rescue a dozen capsized or flipped over vessels. They've responded to 6 already this year. They say if you see an accident and you're near a marine radio, you should notify authorities on Channel 16. Today, Lake Michigan is at 70 degrees. Experts say the average person wearing a life jacket would only survive 5 hours in that temperature. Surviving 6 hours in 55-degree water is an even longer shot. But a Grand Rapids couple spending a weekend up north beat those odds and have several stories to tell now that they're home safe. WZZM 13's Chris Ty spent some time with the lucky couple. He joins us now from our newsroom with more on their amazing story. Chris.
Well, Juliette, it really is an amazing story. A week ago, around this time, Brian Distelberg laid out plans for a romantic weekend up on Drummond Island. What his girlfriend Michelle did not know was she was going to come back with a ring on her finger. And what both of them didn't know is how risky a weekend they were in for.
That night, had a real romantic dinner on this very small little island.
It was a night Brian had planned for a while. He had the ring, the setting, and the girl that he wanted. Earlier that day, they had kayaked to a small island off Drummond Island. They spent the night and the next day. Then they were ready to head back.
And the weather looked great. It was a little choppy on the water, but nothing that was even concerning.
But once they had made it to the strait where Lake Huron comes in, that changed.
The wind picks up in there, and it's enough to produce some 7-foot, 8-foot waves.
They both got knocked out of their kayaks, then separated.
At that point, it was just stay alive, you know, keep my mind occupied.
3 hours into his float, Brian sees Michelle, who's made it to shore, but she had yet to see him.
Not knowing if he had drowned, not knowing was the scariest part.
Scanning the water, she couldn't find him anywhere. Luckily, she had a cell phone. Brian had brought it so Michelle could call her parents after the proposal. She called the Coast Guard. 35 minutes later, they had found him. Safe, 85-degree body temperature, but safe.
It's just very traumatic to see a person you love so much be in that kind of danger and know that they're right on the edge of not ever having them with you again.
They're back home now, a couple preparing for a wedding and a life together. A far more precious life.
And remember that every day is a precious gift. It can be taken away from you very instantly.
Now, somewhere along the beaches or the bottom of Lake Huron is the engagement ring Brian bought for Michelle. Since coming home, they've bought the new one you saw in our story. The kayaks were recovered, the oars and some clothing were lost. It may be a while, but the couple say someday they will go kayaking again.
Oh,
Juliette?
Boy, an amazing story. Chris Ty in our newsroom. In Kent County and across Michigan, the rush is on to get a license to carry a concealed weapon. People line up each morning to start the application process. In addition to the paperwork, people must also be fingerprinted. The Kent County Sheriff's Department says it can only process about 48 people a day. A new law requires just about everyone who asks be given a permit. Major exceptions are people with felony records or mental health problems. The man who brought the sunroof to the public is dead. Heinz Prechter died at his gross ill home today, and reports are he took his own life after a long bout with depression. Now, Prechter founded the American Sunroof Company in the 60s and eventually moved operations to Detroit. He began installing sunroofs at a time few people had even heard of them. Heinz Prechter was 59 years old. The Hudson store name is on the corporate clearance rack. It'll soon become Marshall Field's. The announcement was made several months ago, but today the headquarters said name and sign changes in West Michigan should be complete by the end of the month. Dayton stores, as well as Hudson's, are becoming Marshall Field's to unify the brand name. The same company also owns discount retail giant Target. The oppressive humidity and heat wave of late June is blamed for several deaths in Michigan nursing homes. Next week, State Senator George Hart of Dearborn will introduce a bill requiring all nursing homes to have air conditioning by next June. 3 people died at a Detroit nursing home last month, and several others were hospitalized. The State Attorney General's office is investigating. Long-haul truck drivers work in their trucks, they eat in their trucks, and they sleep in their trucks. And drivers passing through Grand Rapids will soon be able to attend church at a truck stop. Today, a ministry called Transport for Christ brought a mobile chapel to the stop at US 131 and 76th Street. Permanent ones around the country are converted trailers and minister to drivers passing through. Truckers who visit say the chapels foster a great debate on theology.
One, it's really interesting because you come together with a whole bunch of people that are that believe in God, and you get a lot of different opinions from across the country.
Today's truck is a model similar of ones across the country. Ministers hope to open one at this truck stop by late fall. Well, usually you wouldn't think mixing children with paint and straws would be a good idea, but it can be. The young visitors at the Children's Museum are experiencing a little different activity today. It is called air painting. The youngsters spent the day dipping straws into paint, then blowing it onto the paper, creating a unique work of art.
All kinds of dripping, and there's some colors that are kind of mixed together, and there's some long ones, and there's some polka dots.
Very well said. Well, every week the Children's Museum offers a different hands-on experience. Air painting will be offered again next Friday from 10 until 2, and in 3 weeks, children can make butterfly wands. Well, all summer, the Lakeshore is the place to be, but summer fun peaks this weekend. Summer celebration continues on the ground, and a real show is going on thousands of feet in the air. Lee and Kim are at the Muskegon Air Fair with a look. How's it going out there, guys?
Oh, it's a whole lot of fun.
It's a lot of stuff going on.
We just saw the leapfrogs coming on down, and you got the wing walkers and the Blue Angels.
Lots of stuff going on. It's all part of a re-energized Muskegon Air Fair this year. Lots of people already coming down. We'll have the big story when we come back.
You're watching Juliet Dragus, Lee Vanamy, and Bill Steffen on WZZM 13 News.
Well, more than 140,000 people are expected to pack this field this weekend.
And they're coming from all over, some as far away as Canada. WZZM 13's Lakeshore reporter Kimberly Easton joins us now. She's here. You're not far away from home at all, and you're going to talk about the show this year, which is really fantastic. I can tell already.
Everyone is in for a real treat this year. We spend most of the day here, and there is a lot to see. You can expect some daring, fascinating flying in a show that is much bigger and better than ever.
They're considered the best in the nation, and they're here to entertain.
The Blue Angels are new. This is the first time in our 18-year-old history that we've had any jet team here.
The Blue Angels are flying in Muskegon for the first time on a new airfield site.
This is not the normal area of the airport where we have done the show in the past. It's 3 times as large, or it's larger than the area that we had in the past, which we think is going to accommodate all those additional people.
Joining them are a number of unusual acts.
A U.S. Air Force A-10 Thunderbolt demonstration. We have the U.S. Navy Leapfrog Parachute Team, the Budweiser Clydesdales. We have a wing walking act by a husband and wife team. We have aerobatic stunts by Jim Leroy, and a whole host of other things on the ground for people to see and do while they're out here.
Let's do air-to-air since it's my first time.
Like jump in an F-18 flight assimilator, which gives you a good feel of what it's like to fly in one of the fastest planes in the world.
Stay in the square.
There are a lot of interesting and new things to see and do, as well as enjoy an all too familiar act.
Doesn't look too easy. The Navy SEALs.
Danny Clisham's colorful and humorous style has entertained spectators for 17 of the show's 18 years.
This is a very prestigious air show, one of the premier sites for a lot of reasons, hospitality and leadership.
His narrating flair helps spectators understand the world of loops and spins.
Hairpin turnaround with a 2.5 turn.
But it's spectators who make the show memorable.
I think it's the people of West Michigan. They love the performers. They welcome them with open arms. It's entertainment that you can only see one time a year because we don't have these types of military planes around here.
Something else that's new this year is free shuttle service. Well, it hasn't started tonight. That is creating some traffic problems in getting here. So you're encouraged to definitely use it when it starts tomorrow evening and throughout the rest of the weekend. So Kim and Lee, hopefully tomorrow everything will be a little bit better as far as getting down here to enjoy the show.
Yeah, people really need to take advantage of that free shuttle because we're told lots of traffic here right now.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Thanks a lot, Kimberly.
Sure thing.
Thank you very much, Kimberly. And now, as we mentioned, with the airfare moving to the north end of the airport, the parking this year is definitely going to be at a premium.
That's right. You need to leave your car if you want to take that shuttle at the J.C. Penney or Kmart parking lots on Henry Street or Great Lakes Downs or Lakeshore Marketplace on Harvey Street. There you can catch a shuttle which will drop you off at the main spectator area. It runs continuously from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday, and it is free. And the airfare will be open throughout the weekend until it actually opens at 10 a.m. and you can pick up your tickets at the gate.
That's very true. And as we said, it really seems like it's going to be a re-energized airfare this year, especially with the addition of the Blue Angels, which will be fantastic. Now let's throw it back to the studio to the only person of all three of us right now who's actually flown with a Thunderbird.
That's right. And that's why I'm so excited to see the Blue Angels, you two. Thanks very much. Well, hopefully you won't need to bring an umbrella along with you this weekend. You're looking now at a live picture of the Muskegon Air Fair as the crowds are filtering through, getting their first glimpse. Bill's in next with the weekend forecast. Well, let's go back out to the Muskegon Air Fair where our weather ace Bill Steffen has the forecast. And Bill, it seemed to have clouded up and got a little windy out there.
Yeah, we kind of thought it'd be like this. This is thunderstorm debris, we call it. These were thunderstorms in North Dakota. The tops of the storms have blown off and come east to Michigan here. But no rain out here. If you're going to be out here this evening, I think you're going to have a just kind of a cloudy evening here. It should be very nice. I'm with Val Hendry, who is one of the hurricane hunters. She flies into hurricanes. And what you got there?
This is a drop sign. It's one of the instruments that we drop into the eye of the hurricane to measure how intense it is.
Ooh, okay. And what's all in there?
Oh, temperature, pressure, humidity, and winds get measured from this instrument.
Okay, well, that's cool. What's the scariest moment you've ever had in a hurricane?
It was actually one of my first ones where I got bounced off the ceiling. I began to reconsider my career options then.
Wow, well, it sounds like fun. It must be exciting, huh?
Well, that's why we stay with this job. We know that we're helping people, and we really do enjoy it.
Okay, well, Val, thanks for coming out and letting everybody see the big plane behind you here. We got to get to weather and show you what's going on. Dual Doppler, we've had a couple of showers over in Wisconsin, but not a lot of activity out here. I think our best bet for showers and storms won't come until late tonight and perhaps during the day tomorrow, and they'll be very widely scattered. Let's take a look at our tower cam. Looking over Muskegon here in the plains, our weather headline calls for kind of a cloudy evening here, and there is a chance for a thunderstorm late tonight and then again during the day tomorrow. Just a spotty thunderstorm. Water level of Lake Michigan down an inch in the last month. We're about 3 inches below the level that we were at here about 1 year ago. Temperatures of 73 right now, a cool 69 here at Muskegon. If you're coming out to the airfair, temperatures will be mid-upper 60s here this evening, so you might want a light jacket or sweater. Travel across the state, watch out for a shower or thunderstorm late tonight or tomorrow. Sunday will be the better half of the weekend with more sunshine for everybody. There was the sun we had earlier today, but look at the clouds as they've rolled on in here. Most of these clouds are kind of thin. The sun's trying to shine through them. But again, no rain around the area here right now. There's the showers coming through Wisconsin, trying to fall apart. Can't rule out a sprinkle or two making it across the lake. But again, the best bet for storms will come late tonight and tomorrow. There's a severe weather outlook for tomorrow, basically from Grand Rapids off to the east. Potential for some scattered thunderstorms, some with some strong gusty winds. Our flight takes you down off to the west, and boy, look at all the clouds, showers, and thunderstorms down across California, parts of Arizona. Out through the Rockies, not much going on. Out through the plains, a couple of scattered showers there. And in the Grand Rapids area, not much going on here. Again, our best bet for rain won't occur until after midnight tonight. Here's the way it looks. Front coming on in. That'll give us that chance for a shower or storm. Once it gets by us, skies will turn sunshiny here for Sunday and on Monday. Zone forecast over here along the lakeshore. Temperatures overnight tonight dropping to the low 60s. Best bet for a shower or thunderstorm late tonight. Up in the North Country, you were chilly this morning. Won't be quite as cold this morning with temperatures getting down to about 60 by daybreak with an isolated shower thunderstorm after about 1 in the morning. And in the metro zones, again, look for a chance for a shower thunderstorm late tonight, during the day tomorrow. Lows overnight, low 60s, highs tomorrow up into the mid to upper 70s. Here's the way it looks. There'll be a chance of a shower late tonight or a thunder shower. Low temperature about 62. About a 50-50 chance you'll catch about a shower, thunder shower for maybe an hour tomorrow. High about 77 or 78. Sunday, the better half of the weekend. Get out and enjoy. Lots of sunshine, about 83. It will be a bit cooler near Lake Michigan. Long-range outlook, best bet for a shower or storm on Tuesday. Temperatures near normal. Not a lot of rain coming up here next week. And right now, let's take a look at our target for the day. I have no idea what it is, believe it or not. And, well, I'm hearing very close. Okay, I'm hearing very close for our target today. I just got out here. But indeed, it looks like a pretty nice evening. If you're going to be out and about, come on out to the airfair and enjoy tonight or during the day tomorrow. There's our target. We were very close. I'll take that.
Thank you, Bill. Well, some senior golfers are swinging away on some local links. The first round of the Farmers Charity Golf Tournament kicked off today at Egypt Valley Country Club. The defending champ Larry Nelson took the first swing this morning just after 10 o'clock. The tournament runs through the weekend. And talking about holding down the fort, I am truly the only person in studio. Even sports director Tim Swore is out at the Muskegon Air Fair. He joins us now with a look ahead to sports. Tim.
Well, Juliet, I was almost not here. We'll give you advice on fighting the traffic that I had to fight. You don't want to run like I did. And then we'll have the rest of your day in sports, including round 1 of the golf and Wimbledon when we come back.
You're watching Tim Swore on WZZM 13 Sports.
And we're going to do sports from the FedEx Sports Experience here at the airport. Brenda stepping in because we don't want you folks to experience the traffic situation I did. I was running down the road, got picked up by a golf cart. Brenda, if they're coming from Grand Rapids, what do they need to do?
Well, the great thing tomorrow is that all our public shuttles are running, and so when they get off exit 1A off 96, they can go to Great Lake Down Racecourse or the Lakeshore Marketplace and avoid the whole thing and be dropped off at the front gate.
Anything different if they're coming from the north?
If you're coming from the north and you're from Muskegon, you could go to the Henry Street JCPenney or Kmart lot. Same thing. It's all free and convenient.
Perfect. And if it's convenient, it's better than what I went through. Thank you very much. A good thing I got 6 kids that kept me in shape. Let's talk about golf. Talk about in shape, the seniors. Farmers Charity Classic out at Egypt Valley. Go to the highlights of this one. Round 1 going today, and some squirrel got loose on the 18th fairway. They took care of that. George Burns, not that George Burns, this George Burns, stepping up. Par 4, number 14. Look at the approach here. And when it does this, it's good for an eagle. 2 under par right in the hole. Last year's winner, Larry Nelson at 18. Long birdie putt. Nelson will get it to drop. Jim Dent always plays solid here at 18. His approach, look at the action on this golf ball. Watch this thing check up and just put on the brakes. He would par the hole, staying at 5 under. Bob Gilder has been the man, 7 under 65 at 34 to 31. He birdies 18, and he's your leader.
I'm hitting the ball well, and I feel like I should do well. If I can keep hitting it this way, I'll make a few more putts, and I should score well. But shoot, there's a lot of trouble out there. You never know what's going to happen.
The first round's kind of been my nemesis anyway, and every time that I've gotten off to a pretty good start, the weekend's been pretty good too. So, yes, it was a pretty good relief, to shoot 67 on Friday.
So the leaderboard looks like this. Gilder, 2-shot lead over Dent, Mike Hill, and Nelson. 5 others at -4. 30 players broke par today. Well, let's get to Wimbledon for the 3rd straight year. It was Andre Agassi battling his biggest nemesis, Patrick Rafter. Quickly go to the highlights of this, and it would be another classic. Agassi had a chance to wrap up the match at 5-4, serving in the 5th, but Rafter, just 2 points away from being eliminated, hangs in there. He would get the point. Watch him come to the net right there, stays alive. Didn't just stay alive, though. He would come on after that. Rafter, far court, match point with Agassi serving. Watch Rafter come up, get the winner. Patrick Rafter beats Andre Agassi for the 2nd year in a row. The final, 2-6-6-3-3-6-6-2-8-6. And there's Sterling Marlin. You're riding with him, qualifying for the Pepsi 400 in Daytona. They've had rain right now. Marlin is your pole sitter. Johnny Benson still waiting to go out. 11 cars have yet to have a chance to qualify. So there you have it. We are at the FedEx Sports Zone here. All money raised here at the airport and the airfare go to charity. I'm going to see if I can put it right in this guy's hands. Oh, a little high. Sorry. Back to you, Juliet.
Good try, though, Tim. Thanks so much.
I'll stay here a while.
Okay. We'll be right back. Here's a look at what we're working on for WZZM 13 News at 11. Cameras watch us in many public places, but one place you might not expect them is the beach, and the images can be viewed and zoomed in on by people surfing the net. We'll show you some popular local web cameras and hear some of the concerns about them. Plus, Muskegon will be packed with people and excitement this weekend. You will hear a big music act performing tonight at the Muskegon Summer Celebration. And thank you so much for joining us for the news at 6. World News Tonight is next, and we'll see you back here at 11. We leave you with a salute to the wall climbers at Camp O'Malley. Have a good night.